Howdy everyone, hope everyone is enjoying and or looking forward to the holidays. Last time I introduced you all to Field Colony, announced Shifting Roots pre-orders, and promised that we would be looking at Oak Colony next. So, here we are. But before we get started, I want to say a big old thank you from me and the team to you guys for all the support. We sold out of our special pre-orders so quickly, and it was really special to see everyone so excited. If you want to get your own copy of Shifting Roots when it comes out on the 23rd, you can go to the links below or just search for Shifting Roots on common bookseller websites like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Kubo. I believe that this second method works best for those trying to ship internationally outside of North America, but I will admit that I'm a bit hazy on how all that works, and I do apologize for the inconvenience. But no matter where you are, you should be able to download the ebook. So we hope that everyone can enjoy the book when it comes out in just a few days. I know I am so excited to see your reactions. We will have more of the signed physical copies with the stickers and bookmark sometime after the holidays, and we'll be sure to let you guys know when those are available again. So thank you for your patience. I've also had several people ask what the best way to support the team is, and so first off, how thoughtful of you guys, thanks! But to legitimately answer, the best way to support the book is to leave an honest review of the book on the seller's website. Reviews, good, bad, neutral, long, short, whatever. They all help a book get seen by the algorithm and overall help the book's success. So leaving a review is greatly appreciated. And of course, the other best way to support the project is through Patreon, either donating to the Starcat Studio or Roslyn Books Patreons help us directly to continue funding the project. You might have also noticed a new little jingle at the beginning of this video. That is thanks to the wonderful Blixamy, who made the original Drawing a Blank song and just so happened to give me a remixed and reimagined version after the Field Colony video went up. So thank you, Blixamy! And now, with all that housekeeping out of the way, let me introduce you all to the brave and adventurous cats of Oak Colony. The speed paint you'll be watching was done by our other co-director, Snapdragon. So give her art your love as we go through all these characters. Captain Elmtail, the Steadfast Branch, is a legendary leader among the colonies. Born during a time of constant war during Oak and Marsh Colony, his leadership brought in a new era of peace around Alliance Lake. While many of his peers sought ways to escalate the continued fighting, Elmtail was hopeful that Oak and Marsh could find peace. There are many stories of Elmtail's diplomatic ingenuity and bravery in the face of opposition, and maybe no cat sings his praises more than his dear friend Captain Hawkshell, as it was together that the two forged genuine peace, and with Captain Hazelfur and Captain Poolglare enforced that peace throughout the Alliance. But Captain Elmtail is no longer in his prime. While the stories laud his accomplishments, many younger cats find the senior cat difficult to take seriously. He has become particularly frail in the last year. And all cats of the Alliance know that the revered captain won't be around much longer. Elmtail enjoys spending his remaining days nurturing his colony and spending quiet moments with his mate Stagcharge and his son Rowenstorm. Redleaf is the happy-go-lucky second of Oak Colony. A longtime envoy and friend to Elmtail, he was the natural choice for second-in-command. Unfortunately, his bright sunny attitude has been dampened in these dark times. With an unknown creature stalking the marshes, he is unsure what action he should take to protect the Oaklands. He wishes he had the time to help everyone. Dawnfrost in her ambition to achieve becoming second, and his own son, Shrewpelt, in climbing the ranks of envoy, and everyone else in the colony as well. But he and his mate Stonestep have their second litter of young kittens to worry about as well, and Captain Elmtail is going to need Redleaf by his side to learn everything he can before the wise Tom passes. Vinestripe is a smart and capable ranger who has been an envoy for a long time. She and Redleaf are good friends, and she is pleased that he was chosen to become the next second. Vinestripe herself has never really yearned for the title of second or captain the way that some cats do, but she feels perfectly content as an envoy to her colony. Her mate is Dustclaw, and their son and daughter, Larkwing and Aspenbreeze, recently completed training to become rangers. She hopes to have another litter with Dustclaw soon, as she sees it as a huge contribution to the colony. Plus, it is fun to brag about her kittens to her peers. Dawnfrost is the stoic and cool member of the council. She is always controlled and level-headed, speaking only when she needs to. In contrast to her serious nature among those in her colony, she does open up her playful side quite easily around close friends, like Thornheart and Rowenstorm, who feel more like family to her than her recently passed father, Brackenfoot. She used to be very open with her Fieldlander friend Spotted Shadow as well, but she is attempting to distance herself from Spotted Shadow, especially after their brief romance ended with them agreeing that they were both too focused on their colonies to really make a relationship work. It hurts to admit, but it stung when Spotted Shadow seemingly had no problem moving on to the Marshlander Wildfur over her. She's tried to grow past her jealousy, as Spotted Shadow and Wildfur really are perfect for each other, and both of them are determined to see it through, unlike Dawnfrost's relationship with her other complicated love interest, Wolfthorn. When they were younger, Dawnfrost thought she would be happy to run away from the Alliance, her ambition, her family, her friends, all of it, just to be with Wolfthorn. For them to create something new together where there were no rules or expectations. But then Wolfthorn was gone for so long, and Dawnfrost grew up into an envoy for her colony, no less, on the path to be even more. She couldn't just toss that aside now. Although she wishes Elmtail had chosen her to be a second in command, she is happy for Redleaf. To see him replace her father Brackenfoot almost feels poetic, as Redleaf replaced the role of parental figure in her heart long ago. Brackenfoot's death leaves Dawnfrost conflicted. She knows cats expect her to be in mourning, but what she truly mourns is her own chance to take his place as second, and soon to be captain of Oak Colony. Hailstorm is a very sly and playful Molly who recently became an envoy, known for her cunning and wit. Her mates are Shrewpelt, whom she is having her first litter of kittens with very soon, and Wrensong, who she's been friends with since kittenhood. She and Wrensong like to play practical jokes on each other, and Wrensong is very excited for the kitten's arrival. She dotes on Hailstorm regularly, as the two spend a lot of time together in the healer's den. When they were younger, Hailstorm and Wrensong were a mean duo of bullies, but both have thankfully matured and become less aggressive since their new claw days. Hailstorm often tries to encourage Shrewpelt to take charge, as he wants to become an envoy as well. But he seems to be waiting for someone to notice him instead of just telling Elmtail and the elders his intent. But Hailstorm knows he will get there someday. Yellowflower and Birchwhisker are mates and retired together as elders after a long life of ranging together. Their only surviving kitten is Gorseclaw, but their son makes up for his lack of siblings with the many grandchildren he has given them. Yellowflower is a very small and stout Molly with a huge attitude. She's missing an eye and never hesitates to tell the story about how she lost it. Though that story changes every time she tells it. Many think she's forgotten how it actually happened. She takes a lot of control during council meetings, having lost none of the fiery energy she had as a ranger and as the old second. So she feels comfortable giving orders. Birchwhisker is very much the content, yes dear, type mate. He is happy to let Yellowflower take the lead in any endeavor and decision, and he agrees with her in almost everything. In fact, he often sleeps through most council meetings, as he has complete faith in his mate and the envoys to reach the best conclusion without him. Elmtail's council is overall a pretty healthy mix of envoys and elders, responsible cats of the Oaklands most other colonies can aspire to. Mocking whispers from other colonies might call Captain Elmtail soft-hearted and weak, especially now in his older years, but no cat denies the strong group of cats who make up his council, all with different abilities and beliefs. Another cat with abilities that Elmtail deeply respects is Wrensong. Although she does not vote like the others do, Elmtail wants his council to listen to Wrensong's reports about herbal supplies before big decisions are made, particularly any that could get cats hurt. Even with that said, the envoys tend to treat Elmtail as a pseudo-grandfather, with cats like Redleaf and Vinestripe upholding and valuing carrying on Elmtail's peace with the other colonies, and Dawnfrost and Hailstorm finding Elmtail and his ideals charming, but maybe a tad outdated. Especially with River Colony posing as a menace to the whole alliance, a peaceful solution may not even be possible. Wrensong is an unorthodox herbalist, as she prefers the tending of plants and maintenance of the cliff gardens over healing. And she has none of the spirituality that her brother Thornheart has. Her brother, however, has none of the talent for healing and none of the love for isolation that his sister possesses. According to their grandmother Yellowflower, her grandchildren make one extremely competent herbalist, but she also disapproves of Wrensong's relationships, mostly her relationship with the marshlander Small Pebble, as some cats judge others for having cross-borders relationships. Wrensong is a bit of a trickster, but she has a good heart and has made huge strides in colony medicine with her skills as an herbalist. Wrensong's skill in tending the cliff gardens and supplying a large amount of the Alliance's herbs makes Wrensong's voice on Oak Colony's council a strong one. The Oak Colony mentors have a certain hierarchy about them, with those who have mentored longer being higher ranking. They teach young new claws during their field training and supervise the rangers who are given new claws to train, aka training the trainers. They work as a unit to make sure that young cats have their footing on the cliffs, learn the best ways to hunt in the territory, and fight effectively. Stagcharge is basically the top mentor who reports directly to the captain and shares the status of training in the entire colony. It helps that the captain is also his mate. This group of 5 has an interesting dynamic with each other and can sometimes be a bit cliquey, as they all get along and view each other very highly. They hold daily meetings at sunset to communicate about the teaching techniques and new claws that are struggling. But together they are quite the united force in Oak Colony. Stagcharge will miss his dear friend Brackenfoot, who just recently passed. He supposes getting older means losing more and more of your loved ones. His first mate, Stormclaw, was an ambitious Molly who left the colony after Elmtail became captain over her, and finding her dead just outside the territory years later still haunts Stagcharge. He has an old, traditional sternness about him, but Stagcharge wishes that Stormclaw could have just been happy with him and their family. He sometimes feels a small pain of guilt being with Elmtail, who Stormclaw loathed, but it does quickly pass. He's over living for the happiness of others, and there's nothing he could do to change the past. Stonestep can be cold and sharp. Many rangers prefer to be supervised by Stagcharge or Tornleg over Stonestep because of her spicy attitude and conniving nature. She is the strictest mentor and the most skilled, having trained more cats than any other ranger in Oak Colony. Stonestep is rarely impressed and has few friends because she views herself as above most others. Many find it quite odd that Redleaf is her mate, as he is so chipper and kind. A kind Tom, Rowan Storm is good at conflict resolution, especially among his peers. His benign and passive nature makes him impossible to hold conflict with. He does his job as mentor and always keeps a bright attitude about it, seemingly never down about anything. Rowan Storm's open secret in the colony is that he loves Dawnfrost and would do anything for her, but it is clear that she sees him only as a friend, and he's learned to be fine with that. He will concentrate on being the best friend he can be for her, and offering advice and comfort with no strings attached. Rowan Storm knows that cats like Dustclaw and Stagcharge expect him to be an envoy, maybe even second or captain, but he just doesn't feel it. He knows that he could be a similar leader to his father Elmtail, but he's not interested in taking his father's place. The colony deserves new blood and new ideas. He supports Dawnfrost's ambitions to take that place and is one of the few cats that she talks about it with. She can sometimes be very harsh on herself, but Rowan Storm wishes that he could convince her that ambition is not a crime. On calm days, Rowan Storm enjoys going out with Dawnfrost and Wrensong to collect herbs so he can enjoy the company of his friends and the sound of the forest. Snowfeather's first memories are from outside of the Alliance. She was born and unbound, and her mother, Summer, were roughing it in the desolate wastes. When Snowfeather was old enough to travel long distances, Summer took Snow to Alliance Lake. Summer met with Captain Elmtail and requested that her daughter be accepted into the colony, as Summer had heard of other cats being accepted, especially younger cats. It was scary for Snow at first, and watching her mother leave her with strangers was heart-wrenching. But Snow accepted the wisdom of her mother's choice. Alliance Lake was a paradise compared to the wastes. The cats were kind and friendly, and it wasn't long before Snow became determined to prove herself to them. She struggled in training compared to her peers, but she never gave up, and the whole colony celebrated her after she completed her Sundown Challenge. Now as a mentor, and Thornheart's mate, with so many friends and achievements to call her own, Snowfeather wouldn't change a thing. Tornleg is the mentor all the new Claws want as their teacher. He is wise and calm, kind and fair. His past experiences have taught him many things that help him relate to young cats, and he views his own mistakes as his best teaching tools, using his disability and the story of his injury as examples for trainees. He can be quiet and somber at times, but always brightens up while training a new Claw. Oak, Moon, and Fox are Finchflight and Gorseclaw's second litter of kittens and younger siblings of Wrensong and Thornheart. They're all eager to prove themselves as capable rangers, with Fox being the adventurous and brave leader of her siblings, Oak being the polite and well-behaved Tom, and Moon just eager to fulfill her true calling, training with her big sister Wrensong to become an herbalist. Her mentor, Snowfeather, reassures Moon that she'll be ready soon, but no matter how enthusiastic, everyone must complete their ranger training first. Black and his brother Frost are less excitable and more difficult than Oak, Moon, and Fox. They both have an edge to them that only teenagers can truly possess. Grumpy and obstinate, these two will put on a sour scowl even in the brightest of days. Many blame their poor temperament on their father, Swiftshadow, and how he not only had kittens at a very young age with an outsider, no less, but then proceeded to not be part of his kittens' lives. Black and Frost don't feel like they need Swiftshadow anyway, though. They have each other. Who better to understand your angst than your brother? The keepers of Oak Colony will be the first to admit that they are more comfortable working on their den building and crafts rather than ranging the tall cliffs of the Oaklands. The forest provides many useful materials to build with. Dustclaw and Gorseclaw take a lot of pride in the structure and tidiness of Oak Colony's base. There are always young kittens to watch over as well, but with how well fortified the base is, Kittens really can't get very far on their own, at least until they can climb the cliffs, and a kitten that can confidently climb cliffs is a kitten who will soon be leaving base training and starting field training. Oak's current kittens are Redleaf and Stonestep's most recent litter, Lilac, Orange, and Sand, 3 inquisitive youngsters on the cusp of starting their base training. They love to play pretend, as most kittens do, and are good with keeping each other entertained with their games. Finchflight is the epitome of a mom friend, always thinking of others and moving from task to task like a cheerful hummingbird. Her charisma and charm makes her a nearly impossible cat to argue with, though sometimes her kitten Wrensong does just because. As a keeper, Finchflight particularly enjoys crafting little gifts, such as the shoulder bag she made for Wrensong to carry herbs and roots. An absolute sweetheart and treasure to the colony. Dustclaw is Francois's brother and Vinestripe's mate, and he can feel really gruff and unapproachable at first, but once you get to know him, it's easy to see Dustclaw's good-natured kindness. Though that kindness pretty strictly ends at the border, as Dustclaw has little trust or love for outsiders, even other Alliance cats, which is part of the reason he prefers the path of a keeper. He is very skilled at constructing sturdy den walls for the colony and takes a lot of pride in his work. And he feels a similar pride for his kittens, Larkwing and Aspen Breeze. When his sister Francois had kittens, leading to Tornleg's injuries becoming worse than they could have been, Dustclaw was harsh on her. He agreed with the then second Brackenfoot that Francois had failed the colony as an herbalist, and demanded that Francois train a replacement herbalist as soon as possible. Unsurprisingly, Francois and Dustclaw aren't as close as they were before everything happened. Gorseclaw is a quiet and unsuspecting cat. He can be easy to look over and then surprise you with a clean den and some freshly picked flowers woven into the walls. Everything in base works as smoothly as it does because Gorseclaw is doing a lot of chores cats take for granted from the humble Tom. His mate, Finchflight, sees how hard Gorseclaw works though, and she makes sure Gorseclaw knows how appreciated he really is. Lilac, Orange, and Sand are Redleaf and Stonestep's second litter. As the second and no-nonsense mentor, Redleaf and Stonestep are often pulled away from their kittens more than they wish, but they're grateful to the keepers for keeping an eye on their kittens as they get older and start looking for more and more trouble to get into every day. Especially little Lilac and Sand, who crave new daily adventures to satisfy their curiosity. But, even with their busy schedules, Redleaf and Stonestep try their hardest to spend time together as a family. Aspen Breeze and her brother Larkwing are Oak Colony's newest rangers. In the Alliance, when a cat graduates to a ranger, it's a rite of passage that acknowledges a cat's transition from kittenhood to adulthood. The newly named rangers must guard the base, while the captain and the colony go out to the moonlight meeting and announce their new names. And any cat who stays behind prepares the base for when the colony returns. When they get back, everyone in the colony welcomes the rangers back into the base, and the cats feast and tell stories late into the night. This tradition is highly loved by cats in Oak Colony, as their forests are always rich with prey, and a large social event gets the whole colony excited. Larkwing and Aspen Breeze have been looking forward to this celebration since they were kittens. The brother and sister are best friends who do everything together, with Aspen Breeze always pushing her more patient brother into action, and Larkwing telling Aspen Breeze to think a moment before doing something stupid. Together they make a great team. Thornheart is a humble Tom with a lot more strength of character than cats give him credit for. A cat with a sense for the spirits beyond, only rivaled by Field Colony's Misty Snow. Thornheart often leads the colony when it comes to matters of the spirits. It can be easy to forget about Thornheart's supernatural inclination until suddenly he seems hit with a sixth sense about something. Old-fashioned thinking would dictate that Thornheart's connection to the spirits would make him a perfect herbalist. But Thornheart was practically born to prove that thinking wrong. He has no sense for herbs and plants, and too big of a heart to handle seeing his friends hurt. Thornheart would much rather have little grand expectations for himself. He has his friends like Dawnfrost, Shrewpelt, and Rowenstorm. He has his wonderful mate, Snowfeather, loving parents, talented new claws he got to see grow into their ranger names. He is perfectly content. Swift Shadow was born on the winter solstice to Francois and Tornleg. Winter solstice is considered a bad luck day for anyone superstitious in the Alliance, and from the very beginning, Swift Shadow seemed destined to be a bad omen. But as a young ranger, Swift Shadow didn't let all the old keeper tales stop his adventurous spirit. He enjoyed pushing the boundaries of his colony, not just figuratively, but literally as well, roaming around the outskirts of the wastes. It was there that he met the rain-born magi named Juno. Even though she was a magi, Swift Shadow thought she was intriguing, and the two spent time together bragging about each other's lives. But when Swift Shadow was suddenly left with 2 kittens, and Juno said that she had to continue her journey and couldn't take the kittens with her, Swift Shadow had to explain to the colony why he was bringing 2 kittens back to the colony. Because of the Alliance's strict intolerance for magic of any kind, Oak Colony does their best to keep Black and Frost's mother a secret, and Swift Shadow has definitely lost many of his colony's respect. Francois is a shy cat and remains rather soft-spoken. When she was a young herbalist, she built a friendship with a warrior named Swiftstrike, a rash and debonair Tom who was often confined to the herbalist's den for minor injuries. The two became sweethearts and mates. But when the older herbalist died, Francois was given a striking premonition from the spirits beyond. If she wasn't cautious, something horrible was going to happen. Francois was certain the spirits were trying to tell her to wait to start a family with Swiftstrike. And other cats who could see how lovesick the 2 cats were brought up their concerns as well. There's nothing wrong with wanting to start a family, but a colony depends on having an herbalist. They urged Francois and Swiftstrike to wait until another herbalist could join Francois's path. Francois ignored all the signs though, and her and Swiftstrike had a single kitten together. But on the day their kitten was born, Swiftstrike suffered a horrible injury, and Francois was unable to tend to him due to the birth. Swiftstrike was left with a disabled back leg and damaged eye. He broke off their relationship after that, and was renamed Tornleg. Francois named her kitten Swift in his honor, and the 2 of them glanced longingly at each other in passing, but the damage of their relationship has caused a lot of pain. After training Rensong, Francois respected the council's decision to strip her from her path. Now Francois is a ranger with a lot of guilt weighing on her heart. Shrewpelt is equal parts a confident and capable ranger with an air of authority and charisma that could make him easily trained into an envoy, and also a brash, easily flustered, and short-sighted Tom, with a lot to still learn. And Shrewpelt's greatest wish is to be noticed for the former and not the latter. He'll stop at nothing to be recognized as a worthy envoy for the colony. But Shrewpelt doesn't just want to become an envoy by asking Elmtail and the council, especially now with his father as the colony's second. Shrewpelt wants to be recognized for his own merits. He wants to truly feel that he's earned it. On top of everything else, seeing his mate Hailstorm and his rival Dawnfrost, who barely notices him at all, become envoys has only made the fire of jealousy burn hotter in Shrewpelt's gut. So as you can see, Oak Colony's current pool of rangers are a group of misfits. A Tom with a spiritual connection to the spirits beyond, but no ambition outside of supporting his friends. A wayward Tom who had a romance with a roaming magi, something strictly forbidden within the Alliance. A disgraced herbalist Molly paying penance for unfortunate circumstance. And a brash Tom eager to prove he is ready to be an envoy and no longer sit on the sideline of Captain Elmtail's notice. So the recent addition of Larkwing and Aspenbreeze into the ranks of Rangers adds some much needed calm and stability to the turbulent field. The siblings are eager to finally be done with their new claw training and spend time together as Rangers together before committing to another career path. Though they honestly see the need the colony has for Rangers right now and are happy to oblige. And that's all for Oak Colony. I hope you all enjoyed it. The finished art will go up on the official Tumblr over the next few days and should all be up in time for the book's release. I've received word from a few people that their books have already shipped, so it'll be at their doors very soon. The next colony video will be Marsh Colony, followed by River Colony. Those probably won't be coming out until next month, so I wish everyone the happiest of holiday seasons, and Happy New Year! Take care, eat delicious foods, and stay inspired.
If you're inspo tanks, then make no mistake, you've come to the right place. Just give Tennille the time to simply blow